Okay, guys, it is Easter, and I want to remember all the children out there that will not make it to this Easter and have already passed. The case I want to bring up today, I had 5, but I actually want to focus today on the Calista Springer case. Marsha and Anthony Springer had numerous amounts and reports of abuse. In fact, there were 121 reports on this family. Anthony Springer's own mother, had called CPS and turned this family in, stating that Anthony did not treat Calista fairly. She was treated differently than the other children. When she was younger, Calista was not allowed to have toys, and she couldn't play with her sister's toys either. This child had nothing. Her sisters had bedrooms all decked out with pretty comforters and pretty pillows and nice sheets. Calista slept in a room with no sheets, no pillows, no blankets, and for a while she slept on a cot with no mattress. Now, like I said, there were numerous amount of reports from Child Protective Service Agency on this family, and they did nothing at all. On February 27th of 2008, the family's home caught on fire. The home was located directly behind the Centerville County Courthouse in Centerville, Michigan, in St. Joseph County. Calista perished in that fire. She could not get out of her room. She was deadbolted in and chained to the floor, deadbolted to the floor, and tied around her waist to her bed. When the police officers first arrived on the scene, and I believe it was in less than a minute, the first officer arrived, he grabbed a ladder from the back of the home and busted out a window to try to get to her, but he had no proper ventilation. He couldn't get past the black smoke. When firefighters arrived, a firefighter attempted to get her out as well, and he could not take his breathing apparatus off to perform CPR. The smoke was so bad. He tried to lift her body up, and he could not get her out of that room. He couldn't understand why. Once the fire was out, he realized that Calista had been tied to her bed. The zip ties had melted, causing it harder for him to get her out. She perished from smoke inhalation. Now, I'm going to tell you, folks, from what I understand, is it takes 3 minutes for you to start having trouble breathing, 5 minutes for you to start wavering in and out of consciousness, 7 minutes for you to just start coughing uncontrollably, but it takes a total of 11 to 15 minutes to die of smoke inhalation. So it was clear that this little girl had tried to get out of her restraints, as she had tried to get up and out, and she couldn't. For 11 minutes that child tried to free herself and couldn't. My question in all of this is, why were Marsha and Anthony Springer and their other 2 daughters on that front lawn? Why is it that nobody went in to get Calista? They got their other 2 children out. Why? Because they knew that they were not going to be able to get her out of her chains, out of her zip ties, and get that key and that lock to undeadbolt that room in time. Did they fear for their own lives, their other 2 children's lives? They had to rescue themselves. Listen, I don't have a child locked in a room at nighttime, but if my home caught on fire, no, I would not leave my home without grabbing my child first. Okay, I wouldn't even leave my home without grabbing my dog first. Okay, I would not leave my child in a room in a house with it on fire. You would find my body with my child. I wouldn't think of me first. When you're a parent, you are supposed to think of that child first. But they are the reason she perished. They did not have to deadbolt this child in or tie her to her bed. But see, that's not all. My big thing is, I'm going to read you guys some transcripts, and I'm going to tell you ahead of time, this is going to be a 2-parter. I hope that you read the top of this first and realize this is part 1 that you need to listen to before you listen to part 2. I mean, they're both going to be bad, but this one I would like you guys to understand the background before I read you more on our outrage on why these terrible laws on child abuse here need to change, and the CPS laws are just, terrible. Calista's life had been a living nightmare from 15 months on. I mean, that's just where it stems from us, from our understanding. It's 15 months and up. Coincidentally, that is when her father, Anthony, married her stepmonster, Marcia, at 15 months of age. Um, we're not really positive on why her biological mother, Norma Swaggles, doesn't have her anymore. It doesn't matter why. There obviously was no abuse because Calista's friends and family helped get Norma up for the candlelight vigil. So obviously Calista was never abused. More than likely she thought she was going to be giving her daughter a better life. I see that a lot where the mothers think they're giving their children better lives and they give them to the father. But a lot of people are really trashing her right now and saying that if she would have been a better mother, if she would have been here, this never would have happened. She did not cause that house fire. She did not lock her child into a room. She did not zip tie her child, chain her child, and tie her child to a bed. Norma never did that to Calista. That was Anthony and Marcia Springer who did that, not Norma. So for those of you out there who are second guessing on Norma, it shouldn't matter why she doesn't have Calista, but the fact is that she did not cause Callista's death. I watched her and she was truly saddened. I mean, she just was falling apart. I do know that Anthony had moved a few times, and when Norma would try to call, she wasn't allowed to speak to Calista. So it's not like the judgment needs to be passed to her. She did not cause this. So I'm going to get these notes together. I will be right back because I only have a few minutes to record each of these. I'll be right back to tell you guys about the rest of what is going on and the testimonials of people that were around and some of the things that were brought up in court that I feel you all need to know, so maybe you can see why we're pushing so hard to change the child abuse laws that are so not just terrible in this state. They're horrible. They're just not good. So give me just a second and I will be right back. I'm going to get all this compiled and I'll be right back with you. But please, again, if you're watching this one second, I'm sorry. I'm obviously going to write. Please watch first on this, and I hope that you do, so that you don't come in the middle of me ranting and raving and not understand why. So I will be right back, okay?